Alrighty. Hello, everyone. My name is Caden, and welcome to the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. I'm going to be playing through all three games, but we're going to be starting with, of course, the first in the trilogy, the one that I've never actually, that I know the least amount of, which is the first, I just said the first game. Apollo Justice. I know, so I guess I should probably mention what I mean more so. I technically have never played Dual Destinies, but I have watched plenty of it to where I know a lot. But it's been a long time as well. And then I know for a fact I played through Spirit of Justice, but again, long time. Blah, blah, blah. And then there's, of course, the music hall, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, how about let's not delay it any longer. Let's get into Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney. And regarding audio, we'll figure that out as we go. Episode 1, Turnabout Trump. Artist. Interesting start so far. Card. Spider. Oh, it's a card game. Showdown time. You lose. Card game turned murder, huh? I seem to be in a bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him. Hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. April 20th, 9:37 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Panicked. Palms sweaty. I can admit it, I'm nervous. Ah, good morning. Who is this? Oh, hi there. Good morning, sir. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight. Wound up, sir? No. I'm loose. I'm fine. That screeching noise. Is that your voice? I suppose it's to be expected. Your first trial, and it's a homicide, I guess. Justice doesn't start small, huh? I guess you're my, are you my client? I'm fine! I got up at 5 a.m. to do my Cords of Steel voice workout. I'm fine! Ah, that explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to your speech, to your screech. I overdid it again. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. Oh, it's not you. I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. Drift gotten, sir. I'm all over that drift. As it happens, I dined with him on the night of the murder. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir. One more thing. Don't say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. Is he like my instructor or something? Christoph. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today is my first trial. And not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of, murder. My boss wants to help him out, of course. And so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. Who is him? Oh, wait. Wait. I have seen the sprite before, and I know who... Well, hello. Whoa! Good, morning! Morning. It's all up to you today. First trial, nervous. Meeting him, cardiac arrest. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help. So, you're... Fine! I'm fine! Ah, Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Are you sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin is a top-notch defense attorney, and he's your friend, so why... You'll see. Huh? You can do it. Be confident. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, it's time. Shall we? Yes, sir! Okay. I need to focus. First trial. Here comes justice. April 20th, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 2. Woo! The court is now in session. I'm back! Thank goodness, and I look... My goodness, the art style here is very nice. I like it. It's different, but it's not bad. I like it. I do wonder, it might just be me and I haven't seen... it may be because it's been a while since I actually looked at the original trilogy's art style, but is this the same? It's almost the same, but I feel like the lines are different. I feel like the lines of everything are done differently. I like it. I think it looks good. It's just, it looks slightly different. Also, I think we're closer to you than ever before, Judge.
Oh, look how close you can get to my magnificent beard.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. And of course, as always, I'm here. Seems that even in a game where Phoenix is not main protagonist, I'm always gonna be the first trial person.
The defense is, fine! I mean, ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank. Don't panic. Too late.
Your name was Mr. Justice, and this is your first trial.
Yes, Your Honor. But I'm fine. Really.
Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. Ahem. Mr. Gavin.
Yes, Your Honor.
I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case.
That was my intention, yes. However, a defense attorney must always cede to his client's wishes. And my client specifically requested Mr. Justice.
Well, of course he wants justice. But to entrust this case to this greenhorn? Why? I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin.
Okay, so Gavin's got trial experience. Fine. But does he have court steel?
Then, let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom.
Hello.
This is truly an unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry we had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Wright.
Yep. I know I've seen this, I don't remember where. I may have seen it... I don't know, I just remember seeing this a long time ago, and I know that it was Phoenix. Yeah, he's like a hobo in this game. I kind of like it, honestly. I like the hat.
Let's put the past behind us, shall we? These days, I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player.
Mr. Wright, how could this have happened?
I won't speak of it further, then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to explain the charges, Mr. Payne.
To think, I saw you enter this room a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains.
Ah, Winston Payne. Subtle as ever, I see.
Ahem. The crime occurred at the Borscht Bold Club, a Russian restaurant. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him. Wham! On the head, smack! Cured him cold.
A customer at the restaurant, you say? And the defendant, you say he was...
The pianist for the club, it seems.
Phoenix Wright. A pianist.
This is the weapon that took the victim's life. A bottle of grape juice.
Okay, that adds up with what we've seen so far.
Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice.
The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence.
Grape juice bottle used as the murder weapon. Bears the defendant Mr. Wright's prints. Okay. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is filed in the court record. I was actually gonna look at that. Aha! It is. You can actually look at it 3D! Ooh. There's a number inscribed on the back of the badge. There are many numbers like it, but this one is mine. Proof that I'm an attorney. To tell the truth, I got a happy feeling inside just looking at it. And I'll show the completion mark. Anything else I could check? Smith's autopsy report. The time of death was around 2 a.m., April 17th. Death was caused by a single blow to forehead. Victim's name is Shoddy Smith. Age is questionable. Male. Estimated time of death is April 17th, between 1:45 a.m. and 2:15 a.m. The cause of death was cerebral hemorrhaging resulting from blunt trauma to the forehead. Ugh. Okay, this is all adding up so far with what we've seen. Ooh, we have a crime photo, actually. Hold on. The sub-basement at the Borscht Bowl Club. So this is the victim, obviously. Now, I'm trying to take a look here to see if there's anything of note that looks just weird right off the gate. I mean, it's probably only going to look weird once I get some evidence to cross-examine with, or some statements to cross-examine with. But is there anything out of the ordinary looking with all this? I mean, there is one thing off the bat that seems a bit weird, which is, I mean, I guess it's not impossible, but, I mean, wouldn't you thought a bottle would shatter? Anyways, before we look at that, oh wait, we already read that. So, this is the grape juice. How long has it been since I drink grape juice? Apparently, it's Mr. Wright's favorite drink. I wonder how well it goes with borscht. The bottle is completely empty. Yeah, heads up. I don't know, I just think it's weird how this bottle is surprisingly intact for the fact that it was used as a murder weapon. I don't even see blood or anything on it. I mean, I guess it was internal hemorrhaging, so I guess maybe it wouldn't leave blood, but I don't know. I just think it's a bit shocking that this bottle's rather in pieces, or rather in one piece, when, you know, it was used to bash someone over the head. I don't know, I just think it's weird. And then we have Christoph Gavin, boss at Gavin Law Offices, a first-rate defense attorney and my trusted mentor. Phoenix Wright, pianist at the Borscht Bowl Club, formerly an ace defense attorney of some renown. Shoddy Smith, the victim of this case, a traveler only recently back in country. And Winston Payne, the prosecuting attorney. For all his experience, he lacks a certain presence. Make a practice of checking it frequently. The court record. Right! I've heard of that. Use E to look at the evidence so far. I'm confident in your ability to handle this. Right, just use E. It's like it's time for some hands-on action.
So, the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But just who was this, Shoddy Smith fellow?
We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor.
A traveler?
According to his passport, he had been out of the country for a number of years. He had only returned to his country recently, though his place of residence is unclear.
And he had some sort of connection with the defendant?
That, too, is unclear at present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borscht Bowl Club on the night of the crime.
If they'd only just met, then why murder? Perhaps the victim slayed the defendant's piano playing?
That doesn't appear to have been the case. No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. At least not piano playing. I'll let this fellow explain what I mean.
Oh yeah, it's the photo we saw.
As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime.
Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself.
Judge, I think we're...
Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of criminal.
It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game in the purest sense, a competition, Your Honor.
Competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. Come again?
The cards on the table have blue backs, Your Honor.
Oh, really?
I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify those present and impress women.
That'll be our first order of business here, then. to find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well, defendant. You will testify to the court about the poker competition held the night of the crime.
My pleasure. This is it. My first trial. Here goes nothing. Witness testimony. The competition. I'm a pianist by trade, yet I can hardly play at all. My real job's to take on interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is. A game. And our customers are happy. Well, I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't seem like there's much to that.
A pianist who can't play piano.
Better than a defense attorney who can't defend.
Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination.
Right, Your Honor. First cross-examination. Don't blow it. Oh, you're right. You're sweating bullets. Bullets? Where? It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy, too. My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. You've watched me perform cross-examinations many times. Though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher? What to do? Should I ask Mr. Gavin for a refresher course? You know what? Because it's been so long since I've actually played last time, I'll go ahead and do it. Why not? Better safe than sorry, especially this early in the game. Literally. Yes, teach me. I know nothing. Indeed. Your job, Justice, is to be mindful of the court record and the testimony. Look for inconsistencies in the testimony with what the court record tells you. When you found an inconsistency, that's when you present the conflicting evidence from the court record with E. But I didn't hear anything strange in the testimony just now. A good sign that you need to press the witness with Q for more information. Press him. Don't let the fact that he's a remarkable man hold you back. Get more information. But isn't Mr. Wright my client? Well, think you can do it? Yes, thank you, sir. I think I can do it. I think you'd better, or we're gonna have a problem. Just remember, find any inconsistencies, any lies in the testimony, and reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it. Inconsistencies. Lies. Phoenix Wright? As if. Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it.
The defense may begin the cross-examination.
Alright, Phoenix. Let's do this. The competition. Pianist by trade, yet I hardly can play at all. Hold it! Hold it! You can hardly play? Oh, I play sometimes, when customers demand it. So I play them one song. That's usually all they want. Was that supposed to be a boast just now? The title of pianist is a mask. A respectable face I wear for the world at large.
Then why are you really at the Bosch Bowl Club?
Real job's to take on interested customers over at the poker table. Hang on. They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I'm a professional, after all.
Ah, do I detect pride in that statement?
Sorry, I had to get comfy.
It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society like me to imagine.
Yes. Your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston. I've played poker for 7 years in that little room. And I've never lost. Once. What? You see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite a draw. That is, quite a draw. Wait, you never lost once. Not even one time. As I said, I'm a professional. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once. Is that even possible? The room where we play and the competition in there are the club's main attractions. Hold it! The room in the crime scene photo is an attraction? It has quite a history, actually. The Borscht Bowl Club used to be a gathering spot for black market types back in the day. Black market? All in the past. Things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. Suffice it to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that little room.
The smoky room gambling hoods. You know, just looking at this picture makes me feel bad. The bosses gather around the table, cutting deals, safe from the eyes of the law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through the small window. I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it could be pretty good for keeping a lookout, but little else. Threw him out a few other tricks to it. That was a common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, I come to play poker in the room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was all just good, clean fun. It was simple. We play game poker using 2 decks of cards. Wait a minute. Hold on.
I'll press you on this first, but
2 decks of cards?
yeah, I'm seeing the problem. I'm only seeing 1 deck here, buddy. Where's the second?
2 decks of cards? A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate 2 decks, no one can slip in cards. There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lying scattered on the floor.
Precisely. Cards on the table, cards upon the floor. Each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really.
Incidentally, we used 2 types of cards at the club. 1 deck of cards was red, the other blue. As I recall, in poker you make 5-card hands. I can see how it would be easy to cheat. Yeah, the game of hands.
That seemed weird. Why do you just say a game of hands?
Ah! This competition you're talking about, I believe the court understands the nature of the game sufficiently.
That's right. It was a simple game after all.
Are you sure?
Huh?
People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room the very moment that crime occurred, yet you claim no connection to the crime.
No, that's strange.
What's strange?
I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. I completely let that one slip by. Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir? Right. There's something I'd like made clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand, and I'd like to hear it from you.
Sure.
Why not?
Very well. The defendant will amend his testimony.
Just one little press, and I've got myself a whole new testimony. I plead silence regarding the murder, but I will say I never touched the murder weapon. Yep, there we go. I'll press you on it first, but there's a very obvious... Silence? The defendant has the right to refuse to testify. I haven't forgotten everything about the law. But why? That clearly puts you at a disadvantage. And it's your job to turn that around in our favor, yes? Great. Like I didn't have enough to do already. Justice, didn't you detect anything odd about that testimony? Huh? Wait, something you said did ring a little strange. Just one thing. Suggest possessing any evidence? Contradiction in Mr. Wright's testimony. Yep. Isn't it a little early to be jumping to conclusions? This is your first cross-examination. Take it slow. If you need more information, don't forget to press. Fine. I'm fine. I plead silence regarding the murder, but I will say I never touched the murder weapon. And yet, why are your fingerprints all over it? So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon. This grape juice bottle, right? So I said.
Something the matter, Mr. Justice?
Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb.
What's this, Mr. Payne?
I examined the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered with the defendant's fingerprints.
Jackson! No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine.
Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears. And our case. But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about fingerprints on a ball in a restaurant?
Well, that's true. The prints alone don't prove...
Oh, they wouldn't prove a thing if they were normal fingerprints.
Huh?
But the fingerprints on the murder weapon were upside down.
Upside down? What does that mean?
It means he was holding the bottle inverted, and there can be only one reason for that.
Yeah.
Yes. To brain someone with the bottle.
Mr. Gavin, I think things just took a turn for the worst.
Oh? I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. There's a good reason for everything. You'll see.
Defendant, can you explain your fingerprints on this bottle to the court?
I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now.
Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case.
I'm sure he's uncooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason.
Huh? Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something.
And what might that be, Mr. Gavin?
On the night of the crime, who was it who reported the murder to the police?
Reported?
Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright, but still that...
Really?
Yes, well, according to the case file, the murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone.
Near the scene?
Let's take a look at a diagram of the murder scene, shall we?
Okay, let's see it.
The victim was murdered in a small room in the basement 2 floors down from ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant.
I see. And this is the phone that made the call.
Wright's cell phone adds to the court record, used by the defendant to notify the police from the restaurant's first floor. The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so choose. Huh. Well...
Oh, what the? What's this?
Wow, the battery's being held in with a piece of tape. You should just buy a new one. Maybe he can't afford it. Or he just doesn't care. I feel like that might be important. Yet, he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And you claim he's being uncooperative. Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I better not waste this. I think the prosecution has toyed with our client enough for the time being.
Toyed? I assure you, no one is more serious about...
What was it you said? The defendant was in the room the very moment the crime occurred. How can you possibly know this?
That's a good question. How indeed?
The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness.
You're as good as they say you are.
So someone else was in the room the night of the crime. Must mean they witnessed the crime. Everything up till now has just been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready?
Very well. The prosecution may call its first witness to the stand.
Oh, hi there.
The witness will state her name and profession.
Hold on just a moment. Where's the witness?
I surmise she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns.
So I used a little hair gel. Relax, people. Have no fear. If any horns point in your direction, this court will cut them off.
You are sure?
I swear it on my gavel. Please, come out.
Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor? Well, if you're sure it's okay.
Hi.
Now, the wait a minute. Would the prosecution care to explain the witness's... paraphernalia?
Yes. She is a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely the tools of her trade.
And that would be...
My name is Olga Orley. I'm employed as a waitress in Bosch Bowl Club restaurant.
Then why the camera?
Of course, it is my pride to serve Borscht that is naming restaurant.
but I also perform. How's it said? Other service.
I take it one of these other services is taking the customer's picture?
Like, for example, this one.
Oh. Interesting. That's the defendant.
Indeed, on the night of the murder. Man in white hat, who is one who has gone kaput.
Indeed. That is the victim. Alright. Order! Order! This is quite a piece of evidence to casually drop onto our laps.
It's the same way I drop cold balls of bush on laps of customers. Casually.
Then the court will casually accept this new evidence. Olga's photo added to the court record. The defendant and Mr. Smith at the Borscht Bowl Club.
Now, witness, where were you at the time of the murder?
So, let's see. Just trying to see if there's anything noteworthy about this photo that seems interesting. I'm trying to keep an eye on this guy. I wonder. Hey, wait a minute. It might just be the way the photo's angled, but something seems wrong about these two photos. Because is it just me? Or is something missing? Look, in this one he has a necklace, like this gold necklace. But when I look at this one, it's possible that it's just not visible enough from here, but at the same time, I feel like I would be able to see something. I don't know. I feel like that's just collarbone. I don't know. I'm probably making a mountain out of a molehill.
I was in room. The hideout, we call it.
Excuse me? The hideout?
It is room where famous gangster bad guy was arrested. His room where murder took place. Your look of utter surprise. It is lovely. I will post by courtroom door lady for you. Photos will be numbered, and you will write which ones you want copy of.
So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. The victim, Shai Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga Orley are witness. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means... Very well, witness. You will testify to the court about that night's events. Witness testimony. That fateful night.
That night, customer asked me to deal cards for game. He was cold. Both players played with hats on, The victim, he played whole time with his hand on locket at his neck. Then, last hand is done, but something terrible has happened, That man flew at victim and is strangling him to death.
Well, we've already got... there's already a glaring issue with that. Why would... No. Man was not strangled to death. He was hemorrhaging from his brain. Incidentally, who won the game?
Isn't obvious. The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith.
That's ridiculous! Because Mr. Wright can't lose! Justice, maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection. But he hasn't lost in 7 years!
Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case my first 7 years as prosecutor either. Incidentally, I have some evidence here. These are the poker chips as they lay at the very moment of the crime. The hand and chips on this side belong to the defendant, Mr. Wright.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. These cards are flipped. Why are they flipped? Over here, they're not flipped.
chips on the far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith.
Chips, you say?
Ah, I mean, yes. Imagine that poker's war. Your hand is your army, and the chips are the spoils.
I know that. After all, in my youth, I was known as the poker head of courtroom number 3. I think he means poker face. Looking at this picture, it does seem that most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table. Is that the case here? It adds up. Chips photo added to the court record. Defendant and victim's chips when crime took place. Very well. The defense may cross-examine the witness. Okay, so we're already off to an interesting start with this with the first case in this game being with poker. The thing that gets me, that confuses me for some reason is, I mean, they could have just flipped, I don't know. These aren't flipped in this photo, and yet in this photo, if you're saying that, like, unless these had to have been flipped, I don't know. Maybe I'm overlooking something. Anyways, let's get to the bigger issue first, though, because there's a bigger problem with this statement than poker chips, I feel. Hold it! You are dealing cards. Do you do this often?
Ah, I am doing this. If customer wishes it, I serve anything. Bosh, cards, more bosh. It is my work.
It's good to hear of a place that hasn't forgotten the meaning of service.
Welcome you to Bosch Ball Club, where Bosch is as warm as the waitresses.
Thank you for not handing out flyers during the cross-examination. Both players play with their hats on. Sorry, April. How can it be cold?
At Bosch Ball Club, we have pride on authentic, rustic Russian restaurant theme. Outside is city in spring, but inside is always as cold as Mother Russia.
No way am I going there.
When it comes to hot Bosch, cold is best seasoning, huh?
Plays the whole time with his hand on Locket's neck. Hello, Reen. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to stream. This is my favorite Ace Attorney character. That's a hard to say. There are a lot of good ones. I mean... There is a part of me that maybe wants to... did I get the name right? I said Reen, if it's... Or, I said Reen, but I don't know if that is right. That might be wrong, so sorry if it is wrong. As to who, I guess... Gumshoes is pretty good. I like Gumshoes. As Cole, both players play with hats on. He plays the whole time with his hand on Locket as his neck. Whoops. Press. Oh, that is right. Only Trails fans get the name right. Not a series I've played before. But at least I got it right. His locket.
I believe it was good luck charm, da. He gripped it many times as he played that night.
It is the locket it's talking about here. One issue at a time. I'm still confused on that last statement. Banzig's and Gumshoe. Yeah, they're both real good characters. At least Sarah's got Otto. Yeah, I like Gatto's design, but I just really like Gumshoes as well. He's as always a joy.
He gripped it many times as he played that night.
Yes, he must have felt as though it might carry him to the moon and the stars. Though if it were small enough to fit around his neck, it wouldn't have much lift. Bashes his brain with a coffee pot. The defense would like a clarification. This is a locket we're talking about. I mean, a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket? Of course, I knew that. It's probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's why she called it that. No, a locket's a locket. It doesn't matter what It's considered bad form to poke fun at the hard of hearing in our society. Hard of hearing or hard of understanding?
So, what happened next?
Last thing I was done, but something terrible has happened. Something terrible? The judge doesn't have object permanence. The judge is not the brightest bulb, but he's trying. The defense will refrain from needless shouting. Sorry. I need to seriously reconsider this vocal training thing.
Now, Miss Orley, can you tell us what happened?
Oh, I was so frightened. I trembled with fear.
The absolute victim is strangled him to death. So when you infatuate with multiple murders? He has his moments. Anyways, flew the man strangling him to death. Yeah. About that. Objection! Oh, really? Strangled, you say? That's odd.
Normal customers only choke on borscht.
No, I mean this report shows that the victim died of a blow to the head. No, gush over Dolly more than Mia. Maybe. Miss Orley, really now, did you witness the crime? Woo! Nice catch. Looking at the picture, it doesn't seem like he was hit. Mia's trifecta, yeah. He's still wearing his hat and everything.
Yet, it is a fact that he was hit, Your Honor.
Ooh. Aha! Here's the photo I wanted. This is the photo I wanted. Yep, that's what was bugging me. He is missing his pendant. So it wasn't just the angle being weird. He is, in fact, missing it. So why is that gone? Well, that's quite shocking, isn't it? This head certainly was hit. Also explains why I wear that. Where's that awful hat? He's bald. Crime photo to add to the court record. Yep. There we go.
But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged at victim. His neck.
Oh, really, Miss Orley? I think I caught you in your own lie this time. Justice, I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think this through once more. What do you mean? I found a contradiction. There's one thing in her testimony that troubles me. Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination. There's such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead, so let's stop being it. There's such a thing as thinking aloud too much, too. But it was blue text! Anyways, he plays whole time with his hand on his locket at his neck. So, where is it? Where's the locket? You know, there was one curious part in her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. But what does it mean? Mr. Justice, would you care to explain what is you're thinking so intensely about? Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on a locket at his neck, I believe she said.
I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar.
No, but look at this photograph. Do you see a locket on the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean? If we are to believe this witness's testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death. I get the feeling I know where this is maybe going to end up going. I feel like I know the direction this might end up going as. They're going to try and say that the motivation for the crime was the locket. I get the feeling. Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it? The defendant! What do you have to say to this? Say... Yes? I just noticed this, but... You have something hanging around your neck, don't you? Phoenix! Why are you wearing the... Wait! Phoenix! What are you doing? That's the pendant! Oh? You mean this? What's added to this game makes no sense to me. He's just chill, it seems. A little too chill, maybe. Yes, it's a locket with a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter. Come again? Mr. Wright, you have a daughter. Much more than you rock like it was in the original trilogy.
We confirmed at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's daughter.
So Mr. Wright has the locket, too. Why don't I buy that this is just a coincidence? Unless you're gonna try and take the angle that the victim somehow stole it. Oh. Why'd you grow your hair out like that when you're balding? I don't know. Well now, the results of this poker game led to the murder. Perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of the game.
Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear that the defendant lost badly.
Oh? Miss Hawley, you will testify to the court about the gameplay between the victim and the defendant. Objective forms of justice. Hey.
Duh.
Alright. Next up. Serious competition.
The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning, he was victim. For last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and...
Eat the lobster in the container else it just gets soggy. Yeah. This has been sitting... This has been in the bowl the whole time. Judge will say, are you gonna eat that? Can I have it? Indeed. Looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game. Hate the concept of wasting food. Yeah, it can be annoying.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
How many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of anger, Your Honor, and now I regret what I've done. A common tale, but true. He thinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony it must be wrong. Serious competition. Game began with 3,500 points and chips for each man. Fandom that made the judge sound like Optimus Prime, that's great. Gant, Scottish, great. That sounds great. Are those the usual starting points? Were there any special rules used?
No, not special. Usual game, usual rules.
If each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be... exactly 7,000 points. Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division. I'm concerned my Gavin didn't say anything there. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, don't do it like that. Small and large. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used?
Of course.
Oh. Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips.
Explain? What is there to be explained?
Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fish and chips. Not a chip off the old block, and not a motorcycle cop, not a...
Thanks. Now that I've pressed her, I'd better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles even?
Yeah. As I've been saying before, it was a game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. Two types of chip. 100 points chip and 1,000 points chip. It is not money, da.
Justice. Sir, don't you find your comment interesting? In more ways than one, sir. But I'd have it added to her testimony myself.
Well, does the defense want the witness to add to her testimony?
Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. That's his testimony. I wish I knew where I was going with this.
Very well, witness, if you would be so kind.
Your Honor.
Okay, so one chip's worth 100 points, the other is worth 1,000. So if it's 7,000 points in total, then that means 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, hang on. One kind of chip is worth 100. Let me press you on this real quick. I want to see this. Mr. Gavin said this testimony is important. To be honest, I have no idea why.
Mr. Justice, do the court a favor and think of what you want to say before raising your hand. We are not in kindergarten.
Sorry, I'm fine. I'd better think of something to ask. And quick. The two types of chips.
Da.
The small ones are 100 and the big ones are 1,000. Right? Right, of course.
Don't waste our time.
Is that all?
Yeah. Great, Mr. Gavin made me stop her, and now I'm the one who looks dumb. Oh, Justice? Please try not to embarrass me like that. Huh? Oh, me? There's a clear contradiction in the information you have in your hands. What? It's a simple matter of calculation. Go on, try it. We're not in kindergarten, after all. Calculation?
Yeah. There's a big problem with this statement. It doesn't add up. Because if the big chips are worth 1,000 each and the game was a 7,000 points, then 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10,000. This don't add up. Even if you do it other way, it's not right. So what's up with the numbers here?
You sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure.
It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the pictures is enough to tell you who won. If you're not in kindergarten.
Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court?
Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points?
Why, the big ones, of course. Duh.
Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up.
The totals?
Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips. And the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points.
Yes, if my calculations are correct. Let's see, 3 plus 1, carry the 5.
They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up...
How much is it?
Do it yourself. You're in kindergarten, aren't you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony.
But why? How could this be?
Exactly. Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why. Right. There's only one possible way to explain this contradiction. Either the starting points were wrong, the chip count was wrong, or both were right. So why is it that the 10,600... The starting points had to be wrong. This calculation makes the answer clear. The total combined points in the table is 10,600. Then each man started the night with 5,300 points.
5,300? That's a rather half-baked score which to start a game.
Justice, would different starting points really change anything? Huh?
It seems the defense's objection was even more half-baked than the score.
Uh-oh. Time to head back into the kitchen. Don't let me cook. Chip count was wrong.
Much embarrassed, Bangs. Maybe.
The odd thing here is the number of chips. Right, Mr. Gavin? Why are you asking me?
Just in case?
Justice, it's your case I'm concerned about. If you're wondering about the chips, just look at the photograph. It's all there. Even a judge with his failing eyesight could count them. That's not the only thing failing the judge.
Let me ask you again.
Both are right. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer.
Well, what is it?
The value of the chips was the other way around.
What?
Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Madness! Utter madness!
Show me that photograph of the chips again. There's 6 small chips, 10 large chips. Right, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up.
Yep. Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself. Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But wait, the value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing.
Indeed. The victim did have the larger number of chips still.
What? Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points, and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table.
Victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points. The defendant had 4,100 points.
Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible!
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning! Now, Mrs. Orley, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime. Weren't you?
Oh, catch!
Order! Order! It appears our defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves whether we can trust the witness's
Who's saying no?
Excuse me, what is it, Miss Orley?
I do not want to be saying this, but actually, you see,
See what, Miss Orley? What do we see?
in the last hand, there was cheat.
Oh, great. We got cheating scandal.
A cheat? You don't mean a trick?
Wait, or do you mean a scam?
They're all the same thing!
Yes, there was cheat in last hand. That is why game ends with chips as they are.
Great, just great! First we have lying, now cheating. Well, this case certainly has taken a turn. Will be interesting.
Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand.
Oh boy. So, the final hand.
The last hand, both men had full house. There was four of each card in deck, from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith.
Miss Orley, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers.
Full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make, in my experience.
That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics.
Mr. Gavin? What's a full house?
Lawyers these days. You don't know your poker.
I can't say this bodes well for your case or career.
What is this? Some kind of secret court poker ring?
Justice, you know the terms one pair, two pair, and three of a kind, yes?
Yeah, no problem.
Two cards with the same number makes a pair, and three makes a three of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with one pair and one three of a kind. That's a full house. Doesn't sound very easy to make, does it?
You see each player's hand in this photo.
So now we're going back to what I was finding weird, which is this photo. The cards are flipped in this photo for some reason. I can see that he has... Wait a minute. Well, they both have full houses.
We forget. There's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? Press. Just how hard is it to make a full house anyway?
It is quite hard, It is making a pair and a three of a kind at the same time.
I guess that's right.
Very difficult to be sure. You can take my word as the poker head of courtroom number 3.
Very difficult, but it's not impossible.
Okay, full house hard. This line of questioning, a waste of time.
Great.
Price. 4 of each card, you say?
There is 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, never mind. That seems to add up.
It is interesting fact that at this number 4 comes from the number of seasons.
Huh, you don't say.
And did you know that the cards are numbered 1 through 13? Add all the cards in the deck and you get 364 a year.
Huh, you don't say. Isn't that 1 day short?
That's why each deck has 2 jokers. They say the second joker stands for the leap year. Thus, you have a perfect representation of the year, all in a deck of cards.
Huh, you don't say. We're going to be in this courtroom for a year if it keeps going like this.
More card facts.
How is it clear?
Well, the defendant, he played a 5th ace.
A 5th ace?
I still remember both hands very well. Mrs. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's too.
Obviously, cheating was afoot. Or perhaps I should say, a hand.
Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke.
Very well. The witness will add this detail to her testimony, please.
Alright. Alright. So, there's a problem with this. Yeah. There's 4. And it appears the witness is mistaken.
Mistaken? But my name...
Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony.
That's a photo of the chips, is it not?
Justice? Perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge cannot comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point.
Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo. What particular point contradicts the witness statement?
Miss Orley, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces.
Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the third ace in question.
No, you can take a look. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in hand. These hands look legitimate. They look very weird in terms of the chances of them happening, but they look legitimate. Where's the 5th ace? I see cheating, all right, and it's going on right here in this courtroom.
2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces in total. Hardly proof of cheating.
Wait, please. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you.
You know what? I want to take a look at some. Maybe I can see where. So... I'm still confused. Why is it that in this photo the cards look flipped in this photo? It could just be me, though. That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You're right to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion.
What might that be, Mr. Gavin?
If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards.
Cards? Mr. Payne?
Ugh. Yes.
The players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court.
Very well. The prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards?
These cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? I want to see the defendant. Let's start with Mr. Wright's hand. The defense would like to view the defendant's hand.
Very well. Mr. Payne, your evidence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Receive evidence of Wright's hand. Well now, let's see what we have here. So, wait. Defendant Wright's hand was left at the scene, full house. Well... the card backs are red. For some reason, I thought they were using blue cards in that final hand. Didn't you, Mr. Gavin? Huh? Oh, which was it now? Right, sir. When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Try using this to turn it every which way and these buttons to zoom in and out. That should give you a better perspective on the case. Let's do this. I already did it. Wow, Christopher sound German. I don't know.
I mean... Well, has the defense found anything they would like to share with the court?
Not unless you count utter confusion. Perhaps you'd best examine the victim's cards next. Of course, you can always give these cards another look. Oh, do I examine the other pair of cards? Let's look at the R ones just in case. Your Honor, the defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's hand.
Granted, but make it quick, Mr. Justice.
Justice is always swift. Aha, I see. What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color.
Ah!
That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand.
Excuse you? You did what?
What was that, Miss Orley?
No, yes. I merely said, yeah, I have.
Your Honor,
Mr. Gavin, yes?
tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker?
To cheat?
I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer. Wait, so you mean... This witness, Miss Orley? She's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager.
Yep. Nice catch, huh?
Order! Order!
Folks, justice. Time to take advantage of her. I mean of her mistake. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard.
That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand.
Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victim, Miss Shotty Smith. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim.
What?
Wait, you don't mean... The defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orley, are you?
Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident. And if Mr. Wright is guilty, that means I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder. Here we go. Oh! Hey! Landed.
Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga Orley?
It appears she has lost, consciousness, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice?
Your Honor?
It seems you presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith.
And that means...
This court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time.
What?
I did it! I held out!
I see no point in prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
What? Huh? Phoenix? Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant spewing now?
Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means?
What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous!
Mr. Baring, you of all people should know, Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night.
As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night.
That was said before.
The 2 decks at the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed. You used different colors and they still got mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game.
I see. But that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards.
No, he wasn't. Phoenix was using red. Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards.
Whatever. In the end, 1 card with the wrong color got into the mix. Which means I was cheating.
Yes, my card slipped into the deck, but seemed to indicate cheating. Yet, this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. In the last game, when was the last card swapped? When? There are 3 broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder.
Well, yeah. Thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was
Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne. Or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? Was the card swapped into the deck? When would the card have been swapped? I think this may have been the thing that was bugging me at the back of my mind. I thought there was something weird about the cards, but even after figuring out that it looks... I don't know. There's something that kept feeling off about these cards. I'm gonna take a guess. It was after the murder. Perhaps it happened after the murder?
What's that? Ridiculous. What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's just silly.
Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh? Even when the back of the cards are a different color. If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Ah, quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the cards were shown, after the murder. So wait, what?
Okay, this is going past silly and straight onto crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Oh, indeed. That's one of the mysteries before us.
There's another.
Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for the blue card? Who? The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room, alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orly. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? Well, we know that Olga Orly... This doesn't... Something feels wrong here. So who was it that swapped the red for the blue? The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orly either.
What are you suggesting?
It's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As the defense, I think it may only make sense for you to name Miss Orly at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong colored card.
And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright?
Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking how much fun all this is.
Really? Phoenix?
Fine. How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant and it wasn't Miss Orly, then who was it?
Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction.
A new direction?
We'll find that, indeed, after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. And that someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong colored card, because the one who did the swap didn't know two colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right. The person replaced the fifth ace with a king. I'm not sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in.
But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist.
True. Not until now. You have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime.
What?
A fourth sub-person? I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright.
This trial is proceeded on one central assumption. Namely, that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room.
I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption?
The problem is that you choose to conceal this information from the court.
I suppose that is a problem, yes.
Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Very well. The trial will resume in 20 minutes.
Well then, this is interesting so far. What is going on? April 20th, 11:52 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3.
That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. To suddenly claim there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well, no. I'd think you would know the answer to that.
Eh?
Ah, being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I've no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Kristoff.
Justice?
Yes, sir! The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something?
Sure.
That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright? I'm wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. That's a picture of my daughter in there.
Little baby.
I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago? What I did. It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. I never, honest. But it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Wanna know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. Huh? You see, poker's all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law? Figure out what your opponent's thinking, and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding! That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No. Come on, who noticed that? Words, habits, twitches. It's all information for the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. What's he talking about? But you will. Soon. Almost forgot. One more thing. About this case, you should know, I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it! I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? I had no idea my courts of steel were that special. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best.
Oh, this is getting strangely intense for a first trial. Save the game. Let's continue. April 20th, 12:14 p.m., District Court, Quorum number 2.
Court will now reconvene. Has our witness, Miss Olga Orley, recovered?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness.
Perhaps we can hear a version of the events again?
That's the thing.
You see, she's quite fatigued.
You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne.
Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand.
Very well. The witness will take the stand.
Oh, she's back. Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession? Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser.
No,
Whoa, what the?
name's Olga Orley. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quick Fingers Orley.
Oh, really?
Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like oh really. There, that's the truth. I hope you're satisfied.
Oh. Witness, you'll tell the court what you were really up to that night.
Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see?
Let me remind you that you are currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences.
Fine.
No more tricks.
Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy, Smith, hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Ball Club several days prior to the night of the game. As a waitress.
So you were in cahoots with the victim.
Not that he needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut.
You swapped the cards!
Exposed as a cheater and losing on top of it, it would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces.
Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on all his prior wins.
A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan.
Oh really, Orley? How droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake.
A mistake?
I agree, the trap was elegant. Yet, what happened to that planted card? Hey, that's right!
He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be to slip free from a trap laid by Olga Quickfingers or really.
Oh, really? The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick.
Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute. I'm bad. You hear me? Bad.
When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung.
Witness testimony. Let's do this. The best laid traps.
That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. The planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no-good cheating defendant.
A surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark.
The trap was perfect, I tell you. Perfect! If that Ron cheater hadn't messed it up.
Look who's talking.
Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, is all yours, Mr. Justice.
With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? And with defense like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors?
I need to take a drink of water.
Ugh. Alright, that night I planted the cards like I was supposed to.
Okay.
This plant card. Which card was it exactly?
The trump card. The 5 of hearts.
Was there a 5 of hearts in any of the photos? Any. Nope, none. Well, wait, what about the floor? There is a 5 here, but I don't think that's sufficient enough detail to claim that's evidence. I don't see a 5 of hearts here.
Let me guess. Mr. Wright was to have switched to 5 with the ace to make a full house? At least that's what you were going to accuse him of doing, thereby ruining his legend.
Still into Wright's pocket.
When was this?
Why, before the match, of course, while he was eating. At the Borscht Bowl Club, we serve borscht and suckers.
Remind me never to go there.
Of course, the car was to make its grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken.
Wright lost the last hand like he was supposed to. So, everything went according to plan.
Exactly. The fifth ace came up, so it's obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Once the extra card was found in his pocket, Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud.
There are worse things to be known as, I suppose.
Tell us what happened with the search.
But the planted card was gone.
The card... The card disappeared?
Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of hearts. Gone, without a trace. Poof, zippo. We searched every nook and cranny, even inside his cute little hat.
But the card was nowhere to be found. Is this correct?
Never in my long storied career. Never has quick fingers or really been so readily duped.
Oh, really? So, what did happen to that 5 of hearts?
Don't look at me. Why don't you ask that cheating, lying, two-faced defendant?
So the 5 of hearts is still missing in action.
The next moment, Wright picked up the ball and swung it.
Wait, isn't that a little odd?
What's odd?
You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing. Which means he didn't cheat. Which means he had no reason to strike the victim.
Well...
Whoa! What the? Huh? What was that just now? I sensed something.
Something wrong, Mr. Justice?
No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? I think this is what Wright was talking about. Press. Miss O'Reilly, you're hiding something.
What are you talking about? You... Me? Quick fingers O'Reilly. Hide something.
The defense will refrain from baseless accusations.
I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true?
Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw him hit him. With my own eyes, I saw it.
Really? It happened as soon as she said, I saw it when Wright hit him. And then suddenly it happened again. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? That witness, for instance, Miss O'Reilly. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? That's it! Touching her neck, was it? Ooh. Whoa, what's going on? The sensation. It's coming into focus. There, that twitch. It's so clear. It's like I could perceive or have it like I couldn't before. Gotcha! See. So, why are you getting so twitchy about that statement? May I ask? Miss O'Reilly, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself.
Unaware of what?
Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand.
My neck? So what?
What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. When she says that part of the testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory as she touches her neck. I'm sure of it.
A memory? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about?
This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us.
Habit of scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So what would remind her the most of the moment of the crime? Miss O'Reilly, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. You notice that happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an inerasable impression on your neck is this. So why is it that she, at the moment of the crime... When I saw it when Wright hit him... 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 Why is that weird? When Wright hit him... When Wright hit him... When Wright hit him... An inerasable impression on your neck. When Wright hit him... Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. What reminds us more of that moment than this bottle, the murder weapon? But something doesn't fit. If you were the only the witness to the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain? Oh, wait.
What's he talking about now?
It was Mr. Smith, the victim who was hit. Not you!
This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness habits? They're completely irrelevant.
Justice, I'll admit, I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later. Just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. Miss O'Reilly, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment.
Yes, I am knowing nothing.
Apparently you're knowing so little you reverted back. What? We know you're not Russian.
The witness will testify, please.
Now.
Fine. He's the one who did it. I didn't let out my sight until the cops got there.
Really? Wait, that doesn't make sense. You seem uneasy.
You try standing up here.
Your eyes are darting all over the place. I must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like?
Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in a daze at the table until the cops came.
Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So, what do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is... Let's see something. It's flawed. It doesn't make sense. Something's not adding up. It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence.
What's that?
Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence that you claim contradicts this testimony.
She didn't let him out for signs till the cops got there. I know there's some evidence that contradicts that. The phone. Miss O'Reilly, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Borscht Bowl Club. So, explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Yep, there I go. Oh!
The lobster!
The man who picked up a bottle and swung it that night wasn't the defendant.
Aha. There we go. So who was it then? If it wasn't right, then who was it? Back to here again, but I get the feeling we're gonna see a little more clearly of what this scene is actually. Showdown time. Dirty cheat! Check his pockets, now! It's gone! The card's gone! You lose. You lose.
Just then, Smith grabbed the ball from next to right, and he hit me.
What?
Some massive cheating you turned out to be.
Oh!
When I came to,
The victim was already dead. Is that it?
that's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If it came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure.
Well, where does this leave us?
Madness! This is madness! I'm dreaming! It must have been me who was hit with a ball, and I'm imagining all this.
It appears our prosecution is at his wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events?
Mr. Gavin, sir, I believe that, as the defense is in this case, we are compelled to call Miss O'Reilly a big, fat liar.
What?
3 were in that room the night of the murder, the defendant, victim, and her, and she has a motive. A motive? The plot foiled. The witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. Oh, Gavin's gonna try and pin this on her because the motivation would be, you know, what she kind of just said. And the denouement of that argument was murder.
I didn't. I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame me.
Right? What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process.
Mr. Wright!
Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. The one who swapped the card didn't know 2 colors of cards were being used. A 4th person.
This theory again. Your fourth person doesn't exist.
Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, there's no escape, and no chance for deception. Perfect place to catch the real criminal.
The real criminal?
And, for in luck, the clues to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided to us. And right at the beginning of the trial, no less.
What?
Apollo? Perhaps you know what I'm talking about.
Sorry.
Remember what I said. The 4th person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the color on the backs of the cards. That's right. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? Wait. A mistake so obvious that there's almost no explanation for why it would even happen. I mean, it's 2 colors, right? How could you possibly mistake 2 different colors, right? But now that I think about it, there might be a single explanation that I want to look in the court record for. No? The card's used for the last game of Red. Yet, there's one person here, in our court, who thought those cards were blue. Wait. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Paulo, think you can figure out who it was?
It's not me, I swear.
No, I think I know who he's going with.
Who is this fourth person?
Why do I get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue?
I
where it was mentioned, but... As I expected. Yep, I distinctly remember Kristoff said something about he had the impression that the cards were blue. So why? Gavin? Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right. Kristoff Gavin, you were the fourth person that night. Of course Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue, the ones on the floor or the table. But look! You can see the colors in this photo. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. Oh! It's true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim, yet it was only that, a game, in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, the backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. What? Well, Kristoff. Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Gavin, is something the matter?
No, nothing. Excuse me, it was just so... sudden. Right. You're not seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Kristoff? You know even I'd never take a joke this far.
Oh no. What is happening?
It's gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb. It's insanity. The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder.
I assure you, I'm quite sane.
What possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim?
I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either.
Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met.
Well, what if they have?
Ah,
There is a possibility, after all. They may have met that night, before the game started.
What are you suggesting?
Is this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you testify to the court. Huh? The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin, testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happen before that game of poker be related? Gavin is getting touchy now.
I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin.
As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss O'Reilly...
Am I to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He is the defense, not you.
That's why! That's why Phoenix wanted Apollo! Because he knew what Kristoff would try and pull! And if Kristoff was the main defense, then he would absolutely get away with it. But he's not.
Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you.
Oh, okay.
Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony?
Yes. This was Mr. Wright's strategy. His plan this all along. And I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. It too, Justice. You would betray me, your teacher. I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth.
Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please.
Here we go. Now we're getting to the thick of it. Appetite before murder. That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in five minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead. Blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call. The defense attorney Gavin. Oh!
Mr. Gavin! You were at the Bosch Boat Club that night of the murder!
I dine with him rather frequently.
and he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder?
Quite against my will. I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you? Right. Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took you on your defense. It appears that I was wrong.
Very well. The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Justice?
Sir!
He's lying, and you're going to expose him.
Understood, sir.
Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? This is one hell of a first trial, my god. What the hell, Apollo? You had dinner with Mr. Gavin.
Yes, he dines with me at the Borscht Bowl Club quite frequently. We were enjoying a usual dinner at our usual spot. As usual. Usual. I always eat at the table closest to the piano.
I see. Where Mr. Smith was sitting?
So the plates and such on the table were from your dinner.
Indeed. Remnants of my meal with Kristoff. We dined for 2 hours, then Kristoff left. After that... Alright. 5 minutes? Whoops. So, the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time. That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure.
Hello, Mr. Wright. What was it you said? Christoph Gavin and Shady Smith may have met.
I believe I did say that.
I was all nervous about this meeting. And now we hear that they just passed in the hall?
That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder.
Oh, it would be. If that's all that really happened.
Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding this time?
When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga Orley mentioned?
The plan was simple. Elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces.
Yeah, a harmless prank, in essence. It was by a quick quirk of fate that I happened to discover it.
A quirk?
I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found the card.
The card she planted.
Yeah, I snuck a peek at it and found it was a 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card. For the game.
Disposed?
Where?
There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle.
An empty bottle of grape juice?
The murder weapon!
Yeah, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The color of the glass makes it hard to see.
A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like terrific drama.
Card inside the murder weapon. That's strange. The police missed it in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look.
This isn't the murder weapon! This is a different bottle! This isn't the murder weapon, is it? It's a completely different bottle!
Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3 approves of this battle of wits. Please revise your testimony with this new information.
Whoopsie daisy. Why in the bottle?
I'm not seeing Jack in here. That's a problem! Wait! Hang on! The cap's open! Someone took it. Did someone take it? Wait.
I perceived my opponent's intent immediately. I'm used to trapping, you see. I knew what was coming.
So you struck first. I like that.
I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me.
At least when you get lucky and stick your hand in your pocket, they don't.
Right, where's the card? Mr. Wright, if I may.
Yes?
I've examined this bottle, and I don't see any card in here. No.
What, Mr. Wright? Surely blank isn't all you have to say for yourself.
I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps a fifth person came and took it out? Oh, and a sixth person could have helped.
Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client.
My apologies, Your Honor.
I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing.
So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear?
In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence.
Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. How do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore?
Hold it!
You made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct?
Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down in the hideout.
Was anyone else on the first floor at the time?
That's all. It was the middle of the night, after all. So over there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. Didn't seem right to leave the uninjured waitress alone.
Wait! 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 Wait!
Cut?
What are you talking about?
Objection!
Wait, this doesn't count. Whoopsie. The witness's statement is kind of right, Your Honor. I'm sorry, but you're an idiot. I'm taking one of your green health bottle sections away.
Hold it!
And when you returned, the victim was already
Dead.
yes.
I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in.
A little.
He was bleeding from his forehead, after all.
I guess I'd be startled too if I walked in on a scene like that. I can't stop myself. I need to know.
A cut on his forehead.
Objection!
Nope, this is right. I too.
Your Honor, I suck.
Hold it!
Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin?
I'd obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky affair. And I figured Kristoff's law offices would give me a friend rate for my defense fees.
Ah, glad to hear you intend to pay.
I'll pay in full, Kristoff. It was I who got you involved, after all.
You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about? Justice? Know what you have to do? He's lying. Expose him, now.
Yes, sir.
To think, what's Mr. Wright trying to tell me with this testimony? The truth has to be in there somewhere. Dispose of the card in the bottle.
Girl's not that cold.
Shay Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff. I discovered the trap during the game. Disposed of the card in the bottle. Discovered the trap during the game. Dispose of the card in the bottle. Dispose the card in the bottle. Dispose of the card in the bottle.
Objection!
Your Honor, help. Your Honor, help. I'm gonna need to save.
Objection!
Your Honor, I have the power to control time itself. See you later. Girl's knocked out. When I returned, he was dead, had blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. This doesn't make sense. Wait a minute.
Objection!
How did you know that? Mr. Rai, if I may. Yes? Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Justice, next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. So right, can you explain this to the court? Ah, forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head. Huh?
You
Put the hat on the dead man's head! He wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police, when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view. Shining bright, just like in this photograph. And picked his hat up off the floor and put it on his head.
why did you do a thing like that?
All I can say is, I'm sorry. That's the only thing I touched at this crime scene.
So, Miss So really didn't see it. It being the victim's, his head.
I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head.
Ah, here we go again.
Mr. Gavin?
Pardon. It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through his case.
Well, hey, he's still our client, isn't he?
I believe that's enough of that.
Mr. Gavin?
This witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago.
Wow. You certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Kristoff. I never knew.
I believe it was you who threw the first stone.
Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. Huh? When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. When I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well. A reason? That reason is right here. Your cell phone? That night, recall that I spoke with defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case I recorded our conversation. Oh! What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Uh-oh. Kristoff, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good. He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him. Hard.
You mean someone cracked that flawless bone trying to play Pate?
It wasn't you, was it? Me? Please, the cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that.
Bone china plate?
The kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny. Not plate, but pate. I believe it's referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead. Oh! Oh! Why would he refer to it like that if he never saw it? He always wore his hat.
The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in non-decaying my forehead.
Wait a sec. Something's not right about that phone call. So, after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Borscht Bowl Club.
Most certainly.
Then how did he know? When did he see this bone china plate?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light.
Kristoff. Well.
Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. When I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court. Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason. The reason why you put the victim's hat back on. The point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it? Phoenix Wright.
Order! I will have order! Mr. Payne!
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear Defense Attorney Gavin's testimony?
Well, as the prosecutor, I...
Very well. We'll break for 10 minutes. After which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for a cross-examination. Are we all clear on that?
Crystal clear, Your Honor.
Very well. This will be the final recess for today. Wow. Okay, this is getting real interesting. Okay, Gavin, I'm scared of you now.
Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who would have thought today would turn out like this?
I assume...
May I?
Oh, hi.
Huh?
What?
Hello, sir. Please, pick a card.
What's all this about? Is this one okay?
Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it.
Oh, yeah, it just now occurs to me. You're his daughter. This is the card! This is the card, isn't it? This is the trump card. The one that's gone missing. Why do you have it?
A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely, and the game is yours. That's all.
An ace. Where do I remember that card from? Why is there just a big old red dot on it?
Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Miss Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all. It's true. I've seen it. The fifth ace. That was cheating. I swear to you.
The missing 5th ace. Wait, a splotch of red. Is this blood? In such a perfect circle.
You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw. The truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it.
Bye, Phoenix daughter.
This bloodstained card. My trump card for finding the truth? I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl. I'd seen her recently, but where? That's when I made the connection.
Little baby. With a color change.
Bloody ace. Could this be the missing 5th ace? Here's our trump card. April 20, 2:45, District Court, Quorum number 2.
Court will now reconvene after I look at this card.
The 5th ace. A red card with a red splotch of blood. A single drop of blood marks the front of the card. This is the card that should have existed. So that means the card that was... Wait, then that means... It's this one, right? This is the card. a king of diamonds. A king of diamonds. How fascinating.
Court will now reconvene. Defense Attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand?
Hi there, Gavin.
Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. The witness state his name in occupation.
Is this fast necessary, Your Honor?
Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom.
Fine. I'll play along.
First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat?
By secret, I'm guessing he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it. You've suddenly taken on a very hostile feeling, I have to say, Gavin. I no longer see you as a kind but smart-ass kind of person. I see you as just a smart-ass asshole. Oh dear.
Objection!
Oh! What? What?
What call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Wright! What do you think you're doing, right?
Wow, things sure look different from on the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taken it off, except for that one time.
That one time being the instant he was hit.
Oh! When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime,
The hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have had to have been there in the hideout at the time of the crime.
in other words,
In other words, I must be the real killer, is what you're trying to say.
not bad, Apollo. Mr. Gavin,
I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court.
Ah,
Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright.
oh?
Yet, I'm afraid in the current situation I see little reason to hide anything. Very well. Allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night.
I think I see where this is headed. He's gonna now try and take Wright with him. He's gonna say that Wright killed... Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night?
Here we go. Witness testimony. That fateful night. The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright, holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, so I left. That's when the call came from Mr. Wright.
So, you witnessed the murder?
For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the dead.
Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team? Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client.
What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand, after all.
So you are, Mr. Gavin.
And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window.
Mr. Wright?
You had to say that. Because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo? Oh,
Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared?
yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial's getting weirder and weirder. All right, Gavin. Let's do this. A rage I sense in that man.
Hold it!
That man? You mean Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers. His aura, shall we say. I knew he was a Sears poker player, but it was more than that.
So then, you knew the true nature of your client's job?
Of course, but I also knew that he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal.
Well, that makes sense that we know. We're friends, after all. Worried for my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I feared this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score.
I see. What happened then?
I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window.
There's a little window. You mean the one you used to keep watch up the stairs?
Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The Black Marketeers used it, I believe.
Why did you go through the trouble of peeking in through the window? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open the door and go into the room?
I didn't want to upset Wright, you see.
Upset Mr. Wright?
Yes. What if my fears had been unfounded? I'd be walking in on their match. Bad form, to say the least.
So far, everything he's saying makes sense. How do you know it was right after the murder?
Really, no need to shout, Justice. I was just getting to that part in my testimony.
Ah, there he is. The coolest defense in the West, and we know and love. Even when you're standing up there on the witness stand, some things never change.
I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours.
With friends like these, who needs enemies?
The victim was dead as he appears in the photo. By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene? Precisely. You see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head, and he was dead. And then Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat.
Can you describe the scene of the crime for us?
A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. Those were the only three at the scene of the crime. Yes, as far as I saw it, at least.
Then we're back to where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police?
2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend.
There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime.
Justice, I just said I saw no one, not a soul.
But that goes against what Mr. Wright said.
Ah yes, this mysterious fourth person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose?
Let's see we agree, Mr. Gavin.
Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap cards in the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary.
How can I show something I can't find myself? Remember, Paulo, the card that was swapped out was the 5th ace.
The 5th ace. Right.
Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out the the card has been raised. I think I see where it's going. And I think it's time to play the trump card. Alright. Can you point to a reason? It's now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why card was swapped out. And go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the 5th ace? Here is our trump card. My reason is, this.
Is that an ace?
What? Why, it's got blood on it. Right next to the spade.
What? This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why?
Could this be the missing 5th ace?
Well, inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with that card?
Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl.
Oh, that card? It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Borscht Bowl Club that night after the murder occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cards are a stock and trade, after all.
No! Impossible! Unacceptable! The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud!
Fraud? How can you be so sure?
What?
I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud
would be the one who took the real car from the crime scene. The real killer. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood, it was the reason?
The reason for
The killer to take the car from the scene of the crime. Where are you going with this? Take another look at the photo, then at the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell to the floor, and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down the back of his head. You're right, it did. Couldn't a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards? I suppose. The killer then took the card to hide the blood.
Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible.
Oh?
Right? Regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence.
No, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question.
What are you talking about?
You want to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene. Now, I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see.
This is baseless conjecture. Baseless.
No, I assure you it's quite based.
Jesus. What?
It's amazing, really, how a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo?
Yes?
Try picturing the scene of the crime in your head. The window. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And, before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there's one decisive problem with this scene.
Well, what is it?
Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position this diagram doesn't fit? The victims? The killers? The witnesses? The second witnesses? Whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card? When murder took place, the body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table, and before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single drop of blood in the victim's hand. Whose position becomes incorrect? Blood. Drop of blood on a card. Whose position doesn't fit? Before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it. So the victim held a card. So you held the card. This is supposedly Christoph. This was our dealer. Wait. Oh no, this is witness number 1, this is witness number 2, this is victim, this is killer. Wait. Take that! Well, for one thing, the killer's in the wrong place, I think. You think? I'm saving the game. Mr. Justice, your job here is not to think, but to know. Just looking at you reminds me of the old days. Not the good old days, per se. Those good old penalties sound painful. And unhappening.
Oh, right. Duh. I forgot. I messed up. And I have to live with my mistakes now. That was a good old penalty sound. Die. Try that one more time. And Mr. Justice, think before you sink. We are going to die! Second witness, that would be Mr. Gavin, yes?
The second witness's position is far less problematic than yours right now, Justice. Perhaps perilous is a better word.
And I'll see what the bloodstain card has to do with the second witness's location. In that case, I will reset time and space itself. The victims?
Well, isn't it the victim's position that's the problem?
I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice.
Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sitting him back in his chair. You'd think any blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Duh.
Take a look at the photo again. If he bled in this position, the blood would fall on the floor, not on the cards.
Like, that's right. So, what does this mean?
You know what? Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs.
Swivel chairs? Oh, man.
Paula, try turn the chair around.
Oh. Wait, what do you mean? What am I doing here? The chair was facing the other way.
It would have to be. So, we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table.
When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing? I don't know, officer, but I'm low on health.
When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next step. Look at this diagram once more. We know now the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction.
I feel like I've become irrelevant to this entire thing. What am I doing here?
Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we?
I'm scared to do that, Phoenix. I don't got much health.
Follow? Whose location in this diagram contradicts our new understandings of the crime? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? Whose location creates contradiction if the victim was facing away?
Well, wouldn't it have to be the killer? It would have to be the killer, right?
The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where his indicator currently is? I would think it'd be quite hard, yeah.
Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of a game?
Oh! I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light.
What?
There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually.
How many times am I gonna save in the first trial? This does not bode well for the entire thing.
Look again at the diagram. Follow? If the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? Try marking it on the diagram. What? But there's no room to put a mark where the killer should be. Don't worry. Let's think it through and see what we find.
Phoenix, you're scaring me.
We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. That's not the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Where would the killer have to be standing to strike our
victim from the front. I'm sorry, what? Where would the killer have to be standing to strike our victim from the front? Here? The killer had to be standing well, in the previous scene. Here? Help!
Anything to say, Mr. Justice?
Time travel. That's what I gotta say. I'm gonna save right here because it's a little closer to the dialogue. It seemed like this was right at first, maybe. I don't know. Hold on. Killer had to be standing well up here.
You get points for flair, but that's about all you get.
Thought I was onto something there, too.
I hardly need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Or are you claiming the killer climbed up the cupboard and hit him from above?
It's simple logic, really. This was the only place the killer could have been standing. And that means that, at the very moment of the crime... Wait! I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there! What's this now? Wait, was it? Hold on. Court record. But it exists. Wait, what? I mean, that's the only explanation, right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately.
The bailiff! Send a team to the crime scene immediately! Have them try to move the cupboard!
Ah, Your Honor?
What?
There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give this to the bailiff.
Yes, I see. You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright.
I do my best.
Oh god, this trial is taking a...
Let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here. Which means... Follow. Try moving the cupboard. I'm scared. Oh! I see the problem. It covers up the window. Oh, what? Huh? What is this trial? This trial's going crazy. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it has to have been as shown here. But that puts everything into question here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my. What's this?
What is it now?
Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. What? Oh, dang! Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion.
Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness?
I know which one it is this time, but it never hurts to be safe.
Which indicator in this diagram contradicts what we know about the crime?
How are you able to see, my friend? About this cupboard? Are we all okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs.
Ah!
That's right. Someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see in. Someone like Mr. Gavin.
What did you say?
Huh? He's the coolest defense attorney in the West losing his cool.
Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right?
It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. Someone was. The window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court?
Exactly where did you witness the crime scene from?
Excuse me, Your Honor. Order. This is a court of law, and I will have order. We just now received word from our investigative team at the Borscht Bowl Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor. Oh, and what did they find? Oh, Your Honor, it turns out there is a secret passage behind it. What?
Well. Ah, yes. I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks to the room many of our regulars know about. And who just happened to be a regular at that restaurant? I do remember him saying something about that now he mentions it. Secret passage is handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal ongoings. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So the room has a secret passage. Where does it go? Near site connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops and enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like our killer. Well. Kristoff. You see where our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo? I see it. But I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I need this trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked in the victim's head. It was only off his head for a few minutes between the Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin? Come on, say something.
Dare I ask what really happened that night?
Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. A date with Destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard. Holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then that chance came, and he took it. Yep. Miss Olga Orley was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage and into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look, and after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red.
Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin.
Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor.
Prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion. Believe me when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest. Immediately.
Objection!
Huh? Oh, God.
Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself.
It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's his dirty tactics firsthand. Points, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlor trick.
Excuse me?
The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here.
What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else.
And not just in anyone else.
But me, his own defense attorney. Illegal evidence?
Objection! Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin. Is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing?
Of course. This bottle, for instance.
Bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking.
How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? And not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne?
Actually, yes. The fingerprints on the ball were, upside down.
I seem to recall this being an issue earlier.
The court, in this case, demand an explanation.
I can think of only one reason why one would hold a bottle upside down, and that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor?
See how the fish squirms to the last. Well, Paula?
Yes?
Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. But I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation. Just like that.
Yeah. Just like what? Why would anyone grab a ball upside down other than it?
Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Is there really another? Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there. In plain sight. I think I might.
How will you just say the answer in plain words?
It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions indeed.
I think I know where he's going with this.
I see two explanations, potentially.
Well, Mr. Justice?
Mr. Gavin said the court and this case demand an explanation. Don't worry. Justice won't leave until justice is done.
Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court. What evidence do you have to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down?
It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that ball on the floor next to your chair.
Excuse me? On the floor?
Yes. Now, reach down and pick it up. Without getting out of your chair. See? You naturally go to pick up the ball by its neck.
With your fingers upside down.
Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor or at the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times.
Wow, I can't believe it's that simple.
Recall our dinner that evening, Kristoff. I was drinking my usual juice then, too. Basically, you used the bottle on the table to do the deed. But then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano. And you switched the bottles.
You took one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon.
Order! 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 What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin?
Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claimed that I switched the bottle. Where's your proof?
Proof? Well, that's,
As I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty.
Objection!
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation?
Yes. I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Bosch Bowl Club. And here's one of the bottles in question. What, are you going to dust that for fingerprints too? I would be surprised if any were on that but his. Mr. Gavin probably wouldn't make such a novice mistake, true. That ball won't bear a trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes! Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle?
But why?
Just humor me. I think I get what he's pointing at. This is the real weapon. And if it's the real weapon, there's something... Mr. Wright, there's something that should be in it. That bottle will solve this case once and for all. What? That's some bottle. I know it.
Open it up! There it is!
There's something inside the bottle.
Open that up.
The Five of Hearts.
What's this? That card. It can't be.
Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment. Miss Olga Orley? Yes, our little swindling's Devochka.
That night, I planned the card like I was supposed to. Then Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. The planted card was gone. The trap failed.
Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in this piece of testimony.
I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the Five of Hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game.
Dispose? Where?
There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. There it is. The Five of Hearts. This is the card. The balls were swapped. And the only one who could have done that was the fourth person in the club that night.
You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. What is happening? Why is the lobster floating?
That's all. That's it.
Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright?
Revenge?
Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago?
My past is like my logic. Straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction.
Fine. I'm glad we could have this little ta-ta-ta. Right.
It's insane. What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone?
I don't know anymore, boy. I gotta just feel bad for Payne in this case, because he literally has just kind of been pushed aside.
I believe this time we've finally come to the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now.
I see. Still, one has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
Not that we know of.
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add? I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter. About this victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as traveler, an odd profession to be sure, and that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Wright? Yes? 7 years. You still haven't lost your touch. Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer. He was extremely talented, to be sure. I need two things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated. This courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo. Me. This is a dark time for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought on by our very own initial trial system. You have to set it right. Mr. Wright. Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Well, it seems like a good time to announce a verdict. This courtroom finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty.
Yippee!
Court is adjourned.
Well, that was one hell of a first case, I gotta say.
Thanks, Apollo. You came through, just like I thought you would.
I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who cornered Mr. Gav. The killer.
Couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability.
Ability?
Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand soon enough.
Wait, I wonder if he means...
I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true?
Of course it's true. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? What was that, Mr. Wright?
You have to find the answer to that question yourself.
The answer?
Right. Today is full of questions without answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could he have to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come.
Huh? Wait, you don't know, do you?
This lock is the key.
Huh? Oh, that reminds me. I met the girl whose picture is in your locket. Daughter. Child.
Your daughter, right? That's right. She's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket.
Wait, what? Huh?
I took this off his neck the night he died. But it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him.
Excuse me? Wait, but that's perjury! You testified! You said that locket was yours!
I said no such thing, actually.
Huh?
I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside it. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth.
Wait, but then why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it?
Sometimes the straightest path to truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You're still just getting started with your career.
Speaking of which, I maybe have a job.
I work for Gavin Law Offices, after all.
I still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs.
Apollo?
Yes?
How about coming to work for me?
Huh? You mean at the Wright & Co. law offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it.
I can't imagine that to be true, but...
Wait, but you're not a...
Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. That incident 7 years ago. That legendary trial. And at the middle of it all was one man, Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence.
Huh?
Forged evidence?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick.
Oh god. Oh god. This card's fake. Isn't it? Oh god. What's going on? What? This is the most weird first trial in terms of like, it feels like nothing should have been allowed. Everything feels wrong. What did I just allow?
One piece of evidence struck me as odd, it's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. I'll bet this was the forged evidence. This card shouldn't exist. You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yeah. That card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left. Leaving the wrong card in its place. Luckily for us.
The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud.
Fraud? How can you be so sure? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real car from the crime scene. The real killer. You forced him. You played a trick that forced him to say it. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Then, you really... Yeah, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real.
But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney.
Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo?
So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago.
None of that matters much now, does it?
I think Apollo just punched Phoenix.
I punched him. It's your story from here on out, Paula. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address. Drop in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut? Try yelling, "Take that!" next time. I find it packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time.
Wow. Wowie zowie.
With that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended.
Damn, Apollo, what the hell was your first trial?
A lot of mysteries went unsolved. And at the time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. I'd find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law. And this is how my story begins.
Holy crap. What a hell of a first court case. That was wild. And Phoenix Wright forging evidence. Holy crap, what the hell did I miss? You know what? I'll continue for a little bit longer. Episode 2, Turnabout Corner. Ooh, wheel. Turn.
As long as we draw breath, the wheel of fate turns.
Oh!
Oh! Spinning big crimes and little crimes together. And when the wheel stops...
Ooh!
You die. Wheel of Calamity, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lesson we should learn. June 15th, 9:12 a.m. Wright & Co. offices. 2 months have passed since Mr. Gavin's arrest. My first trial, and I lost both my mentor and my job.
Yeah, I'll admit it. I was screwed.
But even when I hit bottom, I told myself I'd never come here. Honest.
Oh my gosh! Here being the legendary Wright & Co. offices that has been turned into a magician's room. Okay, Justice, time to stop trembling. Ah, you must be here for the interview. I assume this is the daughter.
You must be here for the interview. Right this way.
Huh? Hi there!
Hello there. You found the right place. Welcome.
What's with this girl?
Well now, shall we begin?
Begin what?
Great. First things first. Any special talents?
Talents?
Yes. Well, you must have at least one.
Well, I guess... defending?
Defending. An unusual talent, but it'll do. With a little jazzing up, of course.
You think so?
Let's give it a go, shall we?
Huh?
Go ahead. Show me. Defend. Just give it all you've got. Don't look back now.
What are you talking about? I can't just defend here.
First lesson. Professional can form anywhere.
Thanks.
We want people to be laughing with us. Not at us.
Thanks. but I'm not sure why they should be laughing at all.
What? What exactly do you think you came here to do?
What? Defend. No?
Excuse me, but do you know where you are right now?
Huh? The Ranko offices, right?
Oh, I was afraid of that. Don't worry, you're not the first.
Look, what's going on here? Who are you? I came here to meet with the person in charge.
Well, you've apparently made no fewer than 2 mistakes.
Mistakes? But I got a call from Mr. Wright this morning.
Perhaps you should go read the sign out front again.
What's there to read? Look, it says right there. Oh. Why does it say Wright Talent Agency?
Welcome to the Right Talent Agency, where you've always come to the right place. I'm Trucy Wright, CEO. I'm a magician.
It all came flooding back. The trial, that girl.
Hello, sir. Please, pick a card.
Mischievous child. Devious creature. That's right. She's my daughter. Trucy. Right.
Here, check out our flyer. Oh, what's your name?
Apollo. Apollo Justice. Attorney at law. Howdy. Yes. Number inscribed. Many numbers like it, but this one is mine. Tell the truth, I get a happy feeling. Look at this!
Oh, I've seen one of those before. It's an attorney's badge. It looks just like the one Daddy used to have. Now if I take this badge and do this and this, see, it's gone.
Hey, my badge! What'd you do with my badge?
No need to worry. Just look in your pocket.
Huh? Oh, wait, my pocket? Wait a second, there's something in there. It's a flyer for your agency!
And here's your badge. You can have it back now.
That's the last time I let her touch anything of mine. Period. I'm moving. What's up with this Right Town Agency? Guess I'll talk to her and find out what I can. A strange split box leers at me from the wall. Is this one of those boxes for cutting people in half?
That's right. This cabinet is used for an illusion called the zigzag.
I've seen one on TV, but why is this one just sitting here in your office?
Oh, it's a little big for me, you see. So I'm using it as furniture. In the top, shirts in the middle, and pants down below. I think it's a nice touch, don't you?
It's nice, that's what I'd call welcoming decor. Hat. A blue silk hat, just like the one Trucy is wearing.
Oh, that's just for show. Don't wear it, please.
That's thought from my mind, honest.
I put it there so clients can see and know who I am. Nothing says magician like a silk top hat.
Plant. Plant.
Don't touch Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie.
Mr. Charlie?
He's been in this office much longer than I have.
Oh my god, is this the same plant from the first 3? He's alive!
Thaddeus Miller had a great fondness for Mr. Charlie. He's lived here since Daddy was a rookie attorney.
Huh. Mr. Charlie. Right.
Now I take care of him.
Mr. Charlie! So, why you got a mini guillotine? There are all sorts of strange paraphernalia sitting on top of the piano.
Those are my magic props. Practice, practice, practice. A professional never leaves their weapons far from reach.
But you can't play with the piano with all this junk on it.
Oh, no one plays here anyway. And the neighbors complain.
I guess Mr. Wright really can't play. Damn. Oh, who's this? An old sepia-tinted photo of a man in a silk top hat.
That's my favorite magician. I want to be just like him someday.
Sure, nice. Guess it's good to have a role model, even if he's gotta be well over 100.
How rude.
It's the truth. Why is there a plate of floating spaghetti? Whoa! The fork is floating! Not.
Why do you have a plate of plastic spaghetti here?
That right there is the whole reason I became a magician.
Do tell.
I saw a plate just like that in a restaurant once. The floating fork looks so real. That's when I knew someday I'd make magic more amazing than that spaghetti.
Is that a hula hoop? It's one of those hula hoop things everyone was crazy about way back when.
Really? I had no idea these were that popular.
Well, I'm not so bad with one myself, actually.
Huh? I'm still learning. So you can really make someone levitate with it? Show me.
Huh? No idea how. It's just a normal hula hoop, isn't it?
Book. What's this?
That table doesn't look very sturdy.
You've never seen one of these? It's a magic table.
So, like, you make this teapot disappear?
So you might think that's not it. Or your very eyes, the contents of this pot change. From Earl Grey to Darjeeling.
Not hard to see the difference, I think. Book. All these legal books must be Mr. Wright's leftovers. There's a lot of unrelated books in here, too. One trick a day, magic for idiots. You'd think a pro magician would aim a bit higher. Door. Anything else of note? I don't think so.
Alright. Talk to the child. The Wright Talent Agency. So, is this really a talent agency?
You bet. Daddy started 7 years ago when he quit law. Of course, we only have 2 people signed up right now.
2 people. Does that include you?
Tracy Wright, magician extraordinaire. I've done a lot of stage shows. Paid too. I'm a professional, you know.
Right.
Promise you'll come to one of my shows, okay? Let's see. Oh, and the art person our agency represents is Phoenix Wright. Pianist extraordinaire.
Your dad, in other words. Did he say he couldn't play the piano?
Our agency doesn't see that as a problem. Why, there are many magicians who can't do magic.
At least you're optimistic, I'll give you that.
Oh, I need water. Ugh. Apologies. Anyways, tell me about yourself, child. How young is the... Actually, how old are you?
15. I guess teen.
Yeah, I'll still call you child because it's funny. So, you're Phoenix Wright's daughter.
That's right. After Daddy quit law 7 years ago, I promised I would keep him fed. So I'm kind of his sugar daddy. Get it?
No.
I'm in charge of this whole office, too. Pretty amazing for a young lass 15, wouldn't you agree?
15? How old is Mr. Wright? I think it's at 33. Yeah, I did.
Daddy? Oh, he's 33 this year.
I'm sure there's a good explanation. Oh.
Question mark? About Mr. Wright giving up law. It was because of that incident 7 years ago, wasn't it?
Huh? You know about that?
Not the details. I remember the news, though. It was a big deal.
So I hear. I was too young to understand what was going on. I'll ask Daddy about it next time I get a chance.
Daddy, right. That reminds me, about Mr. Wright. He gave me a call this morning to come in.
Daddy's not here right now. He's in the hospital.
What? Hospital?
Yeah, he's on strict bed rest until he gets better.
What? Okay. Which hospital is Mr. Wright in? I'll pay him a visit.
Oh, the Hickfield Clinic. It's quite close.
Right, well, I'll be going now, and I'll, give this showbiz gig some thought, okay?
Wait, I'll go with you.
Oh my god, what the hell is happening in here?
So, this is Mr. Wright's hospital.
Oh god, it's you again!
Sorry.
Yeah, are you the doctor?
Yeah, Dr. Ickfield today.
Good morning, Doctor.
Oh, hi there, Trucy.
Is this Daddy's room?
Oh, yeah, said he's gone for a morning checkup. Be back soon. How are
you, Miss Lucy? Any place you like a jam?
Doctor? Nurse was looking for you.
Right, if it isn't the daddy, you're the cutest little thing in town. It'll be offering. There, Druzy.
Wow, what an odd bird that guy was. Good morning. Didn't expect to see you so soon, Apollo.
Mr. Wright. What is going on in here, if I might ask? Mr. Wright's bed. It's really messy.
Look how messy this is. You're just hopeless without me, aren't you, Daddy?
Yikes, she's attempting to clean up. Look out. You got me. What can I say? I was raised in a barn. Try not to let word get out, Apollo, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it might ruin your illustrious career, pretending to play the piano. What is happening here? A swaying, spiraling stack of DVD cases. The Steel Samurai, the Nickel Samurai. Oh god, the Steel Samurai again. The Pink Princess, the Zappy Samurai, Electric Bugaboo. They're all children's action hero shows.
This kid I know keeps sending them to me.
Huh. Like a niece or nephew?
Something like that.
Quite the collection. This kid's parents must be really generous with their allowance. Funny, this really doesn't seem the type that kids would like. Is it Edgeworth? Is it Edgeworth? That'd be kind. Oh! The bottle!
Dad! You snuck some grape juice in again. The doctor said you weren't supposed to drink that here.
Juicy, look at the label.
Oh. Deep sea mineral water. That's fine, I guess.
I switch labels. Don't tell Trucy, okay? What can I say? The man loves his grape juice.
Is that supposed to be alcohol? By the way, why is there a pink piano, if I might ask?
This looks like a child's toy piano. I practice. I don't want my fingers get stiff. Bro always keeps his weapons close at hand. Should I play you a tune?
No thanks.
How unfortunate. I so rarely get a chance to play. Poor Phoenix.
Flowers.
What's that on TV? Looks like some sort of action hero movie.
Oh, I know that one. That's a sniffling samurai. His booger flick attack is a big hit with the grade school crowd.
I had no idea you liked this kind of stuff, Mr. Wright. Oh, what else is there to do when you're stuck in bed? Besides, the episodes will just keep piling up, but if I don't keep up, you know?
Yeah. Try not buying them?
That's the only time I get to watch and write up my reports.
Your reports?
It's a long story. Like a lot of things, actually.
I can imagine. Knowing you right, I can imagine. Anything else of noteworthiness?
Phoenix, look at my badge.
What's that? It's strangely familiar.
How could you not recognize an attorney's badge?
It's been 7 years. I've forgotten a lot of things. I guess some of the years are longer than others.
Alright, let's talk, Phoenix. What happened? So, what happened?
Who could have imagined it? Me, victim of a hit and run.
You were hit by a car?
Oh, he tried to swerve. I'll give him that. Picture me tossed 30 feet through the air.
I'll only stop him when my head hit that telephone pole. You hit a telephone pole with your head. Are you okay?
Thankfully, my only injury was a sprained ankle.
What? What? What do you mean? He really is as lucky as they say. There's something that, well, it just doesn't sit right. I just can't believe you have a daughter, Mr. Wright. And she's so big, not fat, or you know what I mean.
No, Trucy's still a child.
Dad, how many times do I have to remind you? I'm not a child anymore.
You'll always be Daddy's little baby girl to me, Trucy.
My foot, I'm not buying it.
Oh, something you should know about Trucy?
She's a magician, right? She's told me.
Not a mere stage magician, she's a genius.
Aw.
I'll soon come to appreciate her talent. You just tell me things instead of insinuating them. That's no fun, though. Everyone did it for me. It was fun. Anyways, so, why did you contact me?
What could the Right Talent Agency possibly want with me?
Don't need to get prickly now.
Hey, I didn't ask to be dragged in like this.
Huh? Didn't you come into the office of your own free will anyway?
Well, yeah, of course. Help! We're in a big trouble here at the office. Big! I thought someone was dying.
So you don't think this is big trouble? My talent agency represents only 2 people, and one of them is in the hospital.
Phoenix, you don't do anything!
That's right, Dad. How are we gonna pay this month's rent? And the groceries?
Yeah, that's the problem with such a tight operation. It's a symbiotic relationship. When one of us falls, the other 2 must fall.
Hey, this isn't exactly a suitable conversation to be having with a 15-year-old kid.
In any case, if Apollo here can't help you, you'll have to transfer to a new school. Again.
Oh, I can't. I only just made friends. How could you do this to me? Polly!
Huh? What? Now it's my fault. Also, nickname.
On that note, how about you come work for us? I got a perfect client for you already lined up.
Client? You mean I get to do my job? I get to defend in court? Alright, I'll hear what you have to say.
You got it, Dad. Hook, line, and sinker.
Now it's time to reel him in.
And it's official. I'm scared. I would be too. It's official. I'm screwed. Alright, so who's the client?
Ah, yes. Here, take a look at the map here, and I'll explain. Last night, I left the office just before 9 o'clock. I was going to that Indochine pasta joint, Alden Tays. I played piano there, of course.
Phoenix, I swear to God.
That's when it happened. The car sent me flying, nicked a telephone pole, and zoomed away. Creepy, huh?
Just a tad. It's almost as creepy as hearing you tell the story like it was no big deal.
Car sped off in this direction. So, good luck.
Huh?
You wanted a client, didn't you? Well, I'm your client. Find the guy who knocked me into that telephone pole.
Whoa, hold on. I'm a defense attorney, not a detective.
Don't worry, once you've found the guy, I intend to sue him. Then you can stick it to him in court.
I'm not a prosecutor either. I'm sorry, but this is crazy. I'm going back home.
Don't get so worked up. It was just a joke.
Huh?
Oh, Dad. Sorry, Apollo. He just loves jokes, you know. Even the ones that aren't very funny.
The real client should be stopping by the office any time now.
The office? You mean the talent agency?
No harm in going. It's not like I have anything else to do. One more thing. Do look into my accident, too, would you? I marked the scene of the tragedy on this map.
Alright.
Fair enough. It's right in front of this park. Should be easy to find. So he's going to make me investigate this after all.
Well, at least he's giving me the heads up. By the way, can you show me more on this?
I've marked the location of the accident on your map. Find the criminal who knocked me into that telephone pole.
Right Talent Agency. June 15th, 10:05 a.m. Right Talent Agency. Hey, who's there? How long are you planning on making me wait, eh?
Ah, good morning.
Hi there, juicy doll. Sounds like your pop's had a bit of a rough spot, huh?
All's well that ends well, I guess.
This is our client?
Aye, so this is that Apollo fella, eh?
Oh, yes. The name's Apollo.
Look at him there, arms all crossed like ready to fight.
Yes, sir. You don't mean that literally, do you?
The boss told you what I need, right? Don't let me down, Paulo. Now, Paulo.
Don't worry about your defense, sir. I'm on it.
Vince, your noodle half cooked? It's too late for defense. My castle's been stormed. My keep's been kept. My noodle stand's been stolen. Noodle?
You know Mr. Eldoon from the noodle stand, don't you, Polly?
No nicknames, please. And no, of course I don't know him.
You know these spots?
Not really.
And you know the best noodles in town, Eldoon's Noodles.
Whose noodles?
My noodles. Help me out here, Trucidor.
This is Mr. Guy Eldoon, our client. Maybe you can tell us what the problem is, Mr. Eldoon?
Damn! What?
Anything for you, Trucidor?
Damn! What? Has anything in here changed by chance? So, sir, I would like to present to you my defense badge.
Yeah, all right, boy. Where to flash them? Oh, Phoenix used to do that to my pops all the time.
Your pops? Is there any noodle-based character that I can remember from the first game? Noodles, second game. Wait, let's go through the cases of each game. The first case was the guy with the thinker head. Second case, Edgeworth with the crap. Third case, Samurai. Fourth case, I don't remember. Fourth case was, I think, I'm bad at remembering. Whatever.
Your father.
Yep, he whipped that bad boy out and say, put on my tab. You know I'm good for it.
Is having a noodle joint?
Sorry, fellas. The only business I'm concerned with is my business. You help me out. Get my business back.
Who's this guy? So, you run a noodle stand, Mr.
Eldoon. Kyle Doon's the name. And noodles are my game. The secret's in the soup. I've been searching for the perfect soup for a year and a half.
Oh, that's not that long, really.
My family's been noodle men for generations. Got a lot of expectation on my shoulders. 15 fathers passing a noodle to 15 sons.
That's a pretty old noodle.
That fool that I was, I pushed it away. I rebelled against my pops and picked another livelihood. That didn't turn out so well.
Oh,
There was no denying it. Salty broth runs through these veins, boy.
So, it was like destiny that you became what you are.
Right, destiny's word. Oh, I fought it. But in the end, I was bound by the twisted noodle of fate.
not a mental image I care to linger on.
So, last year, I started my noodle stand. The 15th generation of Eldoon's Noodles.
Let's hear more about it. So tell me more about Eldoon's Noodles.
You don't know the genius of my noodles? I make them so salty while they're saltier than salt.
I really don't want to find out.
Guy's a regular at his noodle stand.
He frequented my pop stand back here in his attorney days, too. Yep, him and his assistant.
I'm sorry. I'll be sure to drop by your stand soon.
Wish you could, Sonny.
Huh?
Heck, I wish I could. I'd give anything for a bulb out now.
What do you mean?
It was stolen! My stand! Gone!
Stolen? Oh. Okay.
It was last night. I was doing my rounds, blowing my whistle.
Damn, go off, I guess.
It's like an ice cream truck's bell, but louder. He even gets complaints.
Now he's just trying to butter me up.
That sounded more like the blues than a whistle.
I closed up my stand for the night and parked by the house. Then, this morning, dark and early, it was gone! My keep! My castle! Oh!
Maybe some bum carted it off? Just guessing here.
Well, I don't care who did it. Without that stand, I'm finished. All my noodle bowls were in there, too.
That's the saddest thing I've heard all day.
You guys know, you know it. Anyhow, that's the deal. Good luck.
Huh? Wait. What is Asley's request?
My noodle stand. Find it. And the day you bring my baby back is the day you feast on as many noodles as you want. Of course, I make it so hot and salty, 2 bowls to kill a man. Then I'd really need defense.
Speaking of defense, that's what I do.
I'm a lawyer, not a detective. This is where I live. You drop by if you need any info. Sorry.
This is where I live. You drop by if you need any info, okay?
Go off. Yes, sir.
Head back today if you can, Paulo. I got noodles to make.
Things have certainly taken a turn for the bizarre. Traffic accidents and noodle stand thieves.
Actually, there was something I wanted to ask you about too, Apollo.
Huh? I have a bad feeling about this.
Listen to Lay's problem now. Don't be cruel.
I lost something last night. That is, something was stolen.
Hey, what's this? More thieving and skullduggery?
Well, someone stole a pair of my...
Bruh. Huh? So they were, stolen. You're, right.
That's a glad shame, that is, truth at all.
I was on the office last night. Hung them out to dry. Thief came and took them away. Right after him. Give him back.
Well, that was certainly brave of you.
I lost him. Without those, I don't know what I'll do.
Darn glad shame, yep.
Well, at least the scene of the crime is convenient. I'll mark it on your map.
I'll be at home now. Remember, find my standard. There's an empty bowl in your future, Paulo.
Right.
Well, about truth at all, too, here.
Things have certainly picked up, haven't they?
Apollo, what the hell has happened? I'm so confused. The first case was already a wild ride and a half. And now we've got like 3 different subplots immediately happening here. Regarding a noodle stand being stolen, Phoenix Wright being hit by a hit and run and just being flung across the street, and some girl just having her underwear stolen. What?
We had no work yesterday, and now we have 3 cases.
I guess.
Let's see where we stand.
Not in a courtroom, that's where. Well, the first time on our list.
Phoenix Wright, guy's hit and run accident. We have to find the one who hit him.
Who's gonna pay us for this again?
And the second item, Mr. Eldon's request. Find a stolen stand.
For which we stand to gain a bowl of salty noodles.
And the last request is mine. Find the stolen underwear.
The bowl of noodles is looking better and better.
Let's go, Polly. To the streets.
Aren't you enthusiastic?
How could I not be? Let's crack these cases, you and me.
Well, I guess we might as well get started. Let's see, hit and run, stolen stand, and last but not least, stolen underwear. What the hell? Apollo has just been thrust into the strangest adventure I've seen yet. What the hell? So, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I think I've had enough excitement for the one day. But I've been loving this so far. This has been amazing. This has been hilarious. And just insanely fascinating. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all later. Peace.